Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Hi, Janelle. Hey, what's up, girl? Hey, Yvette. How is everyone doing? Everyone good? Could you guys hear me well? Gosh. Can everybody hear me? Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing? My glasses are blurry. Can everyone hear me good? Yeah? You are new to No Ordinary Woman Chat Show. I'm your host, Miss Kazmak, and we are in our second day running for Now What is Mental Health. Now today, guys, we have a phenomenal, amazing woman. Her name is Leah Charles-King. Now this woman, she is a multi-award-winning TV, radio presenter. She is a mental health warrior, and she's going to come on to this Instagram live, and we're going to talk about bipolar, because that's something that she's dealing with as a young woman herself, and obviously as it's Mental Health Awareness Week, that is the topic of tonight. So guys, if you know anybody out there that's dealing with bipolar, please just tell them to come over here, follow, just to listen to the conversation. And please guys, this is an interaction as well. Although I will be speaking to Leah, I also want you guys to be involved as well, because you know what, it's like I'm just speaking to myself right now, and I know you guys are right here listening to me. So how is everyone doing? I'm gonna put my glasses on because I don't know why I'm trying to look cute, and I know I need my glasses. So who we got out here right now? Cool, you can have. Fabulous, thanks Serena. Right, I'm just gonna have a look to see if our guest is on right now. And the day has been absolutely amazing. I mean, this is absolutely crazy that we're in the 8th week of shutdown season. I refuse to say lockdown because I'm not in jail. And the weather is so peak. It is absolutely seriously beautiful out there. So how you guys been enjoying your Monday so far? Who watched yesterday's conversation with Tene with my beautiful co-host Janelle yesterday? Did anybody watch it? What was your feedback? Did you guys enjoy it? She was absolutely amazing in terms of her talking about journaling, the importance of how that helped to heal her as well, in terms of what she was going through, her personal struggles. And I personally do my journaling as well, and I've been doing that for decades now. And it's amazing when you're journaling and when you do go back and you see your growth and you see what you've been through and how you've overcome those hurdles. It's just so refreshing. Thank you, Yvette. Thank you for your compliments. So let me see. Janelle, could you send a message over to Leah? Because I know she just finished her live. If you can just give her a little nudge just to tell her to start following us. Well, get over it, because we need to get this show started. So, hi, who can I see? I could see Serena's there. I could see Debbie's there. Coverage Sports. Konsu as well from Manhood Academy. Now, these guys are absolutely amazing what they're doing as well. And do check them out every Saturday at 11 o'clock. They're doing Instagram lives, and they have amazing guests on there, and they're just great in terms of what they're doing for our young boys and really just empowering our young kings, you know, just setting them up to become real true leaders out there. So well done to Manhood Academy West. Right, okay, thank you, Janelle. So gosh, I feel like this is gonna be my show. So, has anybody got any questions in regards to how they've been coping with COVID-19? Not even questions. How you guys been coping? I know for myself, it's been up and down, roller coaster. 1 minute I'm feeling fine, next minute I feel like I need help, because obviously the government's always changing. I don't find these very straightforward. I find him very confusing, so I don't watch him. I just kind of like go by my own spirit and just be led by that, because then I feel like I'm more in tune to the great I being, rather than focusing or relying on the man to tell me something that he doesn't even know what to say. So how is everybody coping with this whole pandemic right now? It'd be great to hear how you guys are coping. No one's going to say anything to me. Okay, cool. That's all good. And yeah, so No Ordinary Woman Chat Show. I just tell you guys about the platform just in case you've never been on our Instagram live or even watched any of our YouTube shows itself. No Ordinary Woman Chat Show is a platform to inspire. We have amazing guests, men and women, that comes onto the show who shares their story and talk about their experience, how they've overcome whatever situation, just basically to inspire you and also to inspire myself to how they actually came out of the situation to be able to do the things that they're doing currently right now. We've had people like Levi Roots, we've had Lorraine Cato, Leah Charles-King. We've had so many phenomenal individuals on the show. So guys, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please just press the link in our bio and do follow us, and also watch the amazing content that's out there. I think there's like about 66 episodes, and it's so much gems out there, so much information to inspire you to really just get yourself out of whatever you're dealing with, because there is hope. There is, you have the power within. Everything is within yourself. So yeah, it's just a great platform. I'm not just saying it because obviously I'm the founder of it, but it has been a great platform for myself. It's been a blessing because I've had the opportunity to make amazing individuals. So yeah, so I'm not sure what's going on with our guests. Do you know any update with Leah? Because I'm mindful of time as well. Let me just wave to everybody. Yeah. Okay, so what do you guys think of this beat for Now Chat Show as well? This is also a beat that we got from 13 Beats. 13 Beats are amazing as well. They've worked with so many amazing brands out there, so do check them out. And we're very grateful that they've blessed us with these beats as well. So yeah, it's just, I'm just gonna, until my guest comes on. Oh, thank you. Yeah, this is great. So guys, tell me, what guests would you like us to have on the show in the future as well? Oh, Leah's here. Hey, one guest that's going to join me right now. Yo, hey, where is Leah? I see you, Ebony. Thank you for joining.
Oh, there you are.
Woo! You know it's the parties to the Now Chat Show.
The party's starting now. Leah CK's in the house. Leah CK's in the house. Leah CK's in the house. I'm sorry I was late. I was like, the phone, you know what it's like. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I can't get through. I'm here.
Yeah, I totally get it. It's, you know what, maybe today was just not the right day for you to be coming on the show today. Because your show was amazing. I watched it with your cousin Celine, and it was so inspiring in regards to her talking about her journey and dealing with anxiety and everything else. And it's just amazing. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to make that be about your cousin because it's really about you. But just in case, guys, whoever's just tuned in now, this is the amazing, phenomenal, no ordinary woman, Leah Charles-King. Now, Leah Charles-King is a multi-award TV, radio presenter, and she is also a mental health warrior, and she's doing phenomenal work right now. So, guys, please do check her out. I know we're doing Instagram Live for Mental Health Awareness Week, but so is Leah, and Leah is got some amazing guests, like people in the music industry, the entertainment industry, and obviously herself, who she shared her story yesterday, and that was very mind-blowing. And I want to just really say, I salute
did you watch that?
Seriously, I mean, it's brave that you're actually putting yourself out there.
Tell me about it.
What I think is so amazing is, even though you're sharing your story, you're helping other people as well. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're taking away that stigma. So I think, even though it's like, why is this happening to me? But why should it not happen to you?
Exactly.
Do you understand what I'm saying, babe? Who else would be the person that anybody would really listen to right now. You.
No, absolutely. Do you know what? It hasn't been an easy process, this whole coming out of the bipolar closet, by the way. And hello, everyone. I'm really pleased. I'm seeing some people from my life that have joined over. So I'm happy to see that, like Pretty Bougie as well. Camilla's here. I'm seeing Ed. Oh, there's Lorraine Kate. Oh, there's Caroline. Oh, there's loads of cool people here. Like the cool crew are here, Cass. Oh, that's brilliant.
Yes, wicked.
Yeah, I'm really pleased to see a lot of people come over. Yvette's there as well. Oh, that's great. And so they weren't too bored of me because I thought they're not going to want to hear anything more.
We can never be bored of you, Leah. We could never be bored of you. That's why you've been in the industry for over 20 odd years, yeah? Okay.
I know, but there's still that glass ceiling, so maybe someone's trying to tell me something somewhere. Who knows? But we'll keep forging on regardless. But no, as always, thank you for having me on your show. This is like the third time you guys have invited me on, and it's always an honor. You're like, I've got this list of honorary fans, like fan club people. And I'm not even saying it like in a stupid way, like in a genuine, when I say fan club, I don't mean like a fan, like can I have your autograph? I mean like somebody who is a Leah fan, who is there for Leah, like who is like, who wishes me well. And that's what I mean by the Leah fan club, because I didn't have that back in the day when I was really ill, when I could have used that. I didn't have that. And that's because I was so isolated and ostracized. So to have great people around me that I even see watching this broadcast now, and yourself and Janelle, you know, no ordinary woman chat show, have been a great support of me and helping me to share my story. So I'm really grateful to you girls as well. And also, can I just say, and then I'll stop taking over your live. I'm so sorry.
It's all right, babe. You just do your thing. The live is about you, so it's all good. Talk away.
No. I was just going to say, also, I have to, because Kaz, guys, for those who don't know, I have a presenting academy called the Red Carpet Academy. And Kaz has come to my academy. Like, she is brilliant. But what I love about Kaz is she's come a few times. She ain't messing about, because she wants her things to be amazing. She's like, she came to me for the first time and said, look, I'm doing this thing. I'm doing this platform. I don't just want to be just no little thing. I want a big thing. Yeah. That's what she's saying. Yeah. And I want to be like you. I've watched you for years.
Yes.
I think you're a brilliant presenter.
Yes.
And I literally have come here to learn from you. And whenever anyone says things like that to me, it humbles me, because my God, especially when you were saying those things to me, nobody knew of my battle behind closed doors. Nobody knew that I've got bipolar, or I am bipolar. I wish I've got bipolar, but I am bipolar, and that I struggle. Nobody knew that. So when people like yourself come up to me, as they always do, particularly before I came out, and was just like, I think you're amazing. I want to learn from you. I've watched you for years. And I'm thinking, you have no idea how depressed I've been over the years, how many times I've attempted to take my own life, that I can't cope with being bipolar. I can't cope with anxiety. I can't cope with the depression. You know, how many times I've put myself in danger. Like, you just don't even know. So can I just say in a very roundabout way, is that people like yourself, or yourself, even that first day, I remember when I was having the training in the West End, and you showed up and you were like, I want to do this thing. And you know, there you are, but so open and willing to learn, but also your belief in me. Things like that, let me just tell you, Kaz, that's a medicine. Things like that helped me, although you didn't know it helped me, but things like that just helped me just edge a little bit on my confidence. Like, oh, so although my mind tells me that I'm a piece of shit, excuse my French, you might have to beat that out.
We're grown. We're grown.
So, you know, even though I tell myself that I'm worthless, I'm this or I'm that, there are people. Look at this. There's this woman who says she's been watching me for years, since Kids Telly. She's having a laugh like, I'm nothing. Why would she want to learn from me? And Kaz has. She's come to my academy. She's done a lot of my training on more than one occasion. And you're doing the Now Chat show, and you're smashing it.
Oh,
and she still hollers at me, and she'll go, how does this look, whatever, and I go, don't like it, change this, change that, that's not professional enough, that. But she takes it, and I love Kaz for that, and that's how I know a true Leah fan, because true Leah fans just love Leah, like the good and the bad, like you
Yeah.
know that everything is coming from a good place. I'm never like, even if I'm being a bitch, like I'm not being bitchy. Do you get what I mean? I'm just
Yeah,
like
I get
straight
it.
up
I so get
cutthroat.
it.
There's no
Yeah,
time for it. Kaz, I don't like the way that flower's behind you, but move the
yeah,
vase. That's just like straight.
yeah,
If you want to ask my advice and you want light, don't ask me.
yeah. But you know what? The thing is, at the end of the day, it's not about us getting, you know, anybody could just say you're great, you're fantastic, you're amazing. Do you understand what I'm saying? But then when you're really out there and you watch back and you look at your actual like episodes, etc., it's good to have like constructive criticism so that you can actually say, okay, how can I make that better? It's good to have that. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the reason why
Yeah.
someone like you has been a blessing in my life, because
No.
you're the real deal. You're not going to sugarcoat this thing. You understand what I'm saying? Yourself, there's Angela Ma, straight to the point, not going to sugarcoat it.
Yeah, I love
Even
Angela.
Janelle is not going to
She's
sugarcoat it
amazing.
as well, because
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
times
yeah.
where Janelle will be telling me about me, and it's great. But okay, but the show is all about now what is mental health, and obviously you sharing, coming out and, you know, talking about dealing with bipolar. Just in case anybody that's watching right now that doesn't know what bipolar is, please just explain it real quick and snappy if you can. Really short and sweet.
Yeah, the short is bipolar is a mood disorder, and that really is it. So it's like high highs, low lows. But it's like, if you're happy, you're happy. If you're sad, oh, you're sad. You know, you feel it. Whatever that emotion is, it's that extreme of emotion. But as we know, with mental illness, there's a spectrum. Bipolar in me may be completely different. Bipolar in you. And some people get it so extreme that they can end up in hospitals or sections or, God forbid, worse. You know, and other people, it could just be like moments, fleeting moments of real elation or real sort of sadness. With me, thank God, I've never been sectioned or been in a hospital, but believe you me, I tried. I tried because I was so afraid of myself and what I could possibly do to myself. Because with bipolar, you've got one side that's depression and one side that is mania. So it's like a pendulum and you're kind of swinging like that. And obviously the aim of the game is to try and be balanced. So at the moment, as a general whole, I'm in quite a balanced stage in parts of my day, which you may not notice, but I get to know myself. So there'll be moments where I know things will evoke a certain emotion in me. And I've learning coping mechanisms, and I have medication and therapy. So all of that works together. But, you know, it can just affect people in, you know, different extremes, but it really is varied. But the bottom line is it's kind of a high and low. You've got the depression and then you've got the mania, and the mania is just as dangerous as the depression, because obviously bad depression can make you suicidal, but mania can make you so impulsive and so high you put yourself in dangerous situations, or you could still be telling yourself to commit suicide. Although
So when you say dangerous situations, what is the dangerous situation? Sorry to interject, but what is the dangerous?
For me, I can only speak for myself. Dangerous situations. I was going out late at night, like, I mean, just putting on clothes and going to party like at midnight. That's not me. Like, leave my house, and just that is putting yourself in danger. It could be.
So would you be by yourself when you do that? Would you just like do this moment?
Yeah, and that's quite common for people with bipolar. We will go to play. Well, not people generally bipolar, but people who are maybe in the manic phase of the bipolar. It could get very out of control. So putting yourself in places that you shouldn't be, dangerous places, dangerous situations, dangerous friends, and people as well who can see you're vulnerable in a way, because with things like bipolar, you're so impulsive. Like, you will go into a bar. Could be, I mean, probably loads of people with bipolar can maybe relate to things like this. You could go into a bar and say, well, I'm going to buy everyone around the drinks on me. Hey! Like, that's the level. You will wake up the next day and get a call that you've maxed out your credit card. Like, spent 10 grand in a night on a bottle of champagne. Like, I didn't do that because I didn't have 10 grand on a credit card, to be fair. But if I did, I absolutely, categorically could have easily done things like that. The type of things I was doing, some of them too ashamed to even talk about. I'll be straight up with you. Maybe one day I will. Maybe one day I'll put it in a book. There were some things that made me know, nah, mate, something's not right, and we need to look into this. But of the main things was just like the kind of the dangerous things I was doing and that impulse, because in the same mind, my depression was still there like this. It was like this constant battle daily from going depressed to having this manic phase, and I was still suicidal. So now being manic and suicidal, my mania would have said to me, kill yourself, do it now. And because I was so impulsive, I would have just done it for the sake of doing it.
Yeah.
You know?
So how did you come out of that? But then how did you actually overcome dealing with that when you're feeling that manic kind of, you know, in that mind where you can actually go to that extreme? What actually pulls you back? What stops you?
Well, the thing is, if people get into a manic phase or they have mania or psychosis and they don't get treated, that's when you do see people getting sectioned and unfortunately in hospital or worse. So it's not something that can be ignored, because even if you're watching somebody who's going through, or even if you're the person who's going through it, it's not going to go away. And I just want to make that very clear. You need help as quickly as possible. The quicker you could get intervention, the better it will be for you, for the people around you, but more importantly, you. Like, get that intervention quick. Honestly, from my heart to yours, if you're going through anything similar, please don't hide it from yourself, because life is too short. You could actually live a better life if you could just, it's hard, but honestly, you could live a better life if you could just fight for some kind of help and don't let people tell you no. Because when I was high as a kite from being depressed and lying in my pit for months and months, I didn't leave my house for a year, Kaz. Do you understand? I didn't leave my house for one whole year. I couldn't leave my house. I was agoraphobic. I was depressed. I remember one time my partner picked me up and dashed me in the shower. I'll never forget that. That must be how depressed I was.
Or anything, shit.
I don't even know how long I had. I'm not even kidding you. But for that man, he was a very passive man, very nice man, to take me and dash me in the shower, that's how I remember, boy, I must have been real bad. I went from that, no, but it's true, we wash, when people wash, like, you know, it went from that to being like that. And I was so scared, but nobody believes me, Kat. Nobody believes me. When I said, I don't think I've got this depression label, I actually think it's bipolar. I didn't want to be bipolar, but I also wanted to be true to myself. What the heck is this? What is this?
What made you think to yourself, because obviously you was diagnosed with depression, what made you actually, like, just in case like any of our viewers are watching right now, they don't know your story, yeah? So what made you realize, oh, this is not depression, this is bipolar?
The short answer is EastEnders.
Right.
Literally.
Okay.
There's a character on it, and many people have heard me say it so many times before, but it's the truth. A character called Stacey Slater in it. She one day had all these symptoms. Watched the storyline over months, just creeping in. And she was doing things like impulsive shopping, buying. She was going out. She was, you know, just doing stuff that was out of this character's character. And that was years before I was diagnosed with bipolar. I just remember the storyline. Suddenly, fast forward years, and I'm doing the same things. I remember she's got dark hair. She dyed her hair bright blonde. I dyed my hair bright red. Like, I had bright red hair.
Right, yeah.
Like, you know, long, bright red, but like, really? It's just not me. And, you know, those are the kind of things that I was doing. And it just somewhere in my head recalled that. And that's when I started going, oh, I think it's that bipolar thing from EastEnders. And that's when I went to the GP and said, I've got bipolar. Nobody believes me. And I wrote a suicide note, and because I wanted somebody to believe me, because I was scared. So it wasn't the fact that I knew. The fact was I wanted help, because I was so scared and so impulsive. I knew it was either I was going to kill myself, either from depression or just being high as a kite. I was going to kill myself. I wanted to kill myself.
Yes. Well, we thank God that never happened. We thank God, you know. But one of the things that I wanted to ask you, and what I even watching your live yesterday, you know, you have this amazing career. How did you manage to keep insane dealing with all this in your head? I mean, girl.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I did manage.
Because you're meeting amazing people. You're meeting so many famous people. You know, you're keeping this momentum. Your energy is just live. It's vibrant. But then you're dealing with this struggle within.
Yeah, but Kaz, do you know what? I was off the grid. I know I've been around in TV for 20 years, but there has been times where I completely fallen off the grid because I've been ill. And people obviously wouldn't remember that because they just kind of get the general sense that I've always been there. But there has been times, a year here, a year there, where I've just been too ill to work, or I've been behind the scenes producing maybe, but I haven't coped, and like I said, I would just, at that point of between me being diagnosed and I went on medication to now, when people say it's a journey, like it's a journey. It's a journey. Only, maybe this time last year, I was probably suicidal again. It goes through waves. There are moments. There are times. This is not going to leave me. It's not going to go away. But I tell you what has changed a lot is me speaking out and talking about it. And you guys was one of the first shows that I did that on, actually. So how I've basically got through these years, it's just like a rehabilitation. It's like learning. Because, Kaz, I went from being this person to being nothing. And actually being so ill that I didn't even know what I wanted to eat or drink. I didn't know how to cook anymore. I didn't even know how to pay a bill. I'd become that basic in my mind. I didn't even know how to care for myself anymore. It was that deep. So now, even now, 8 years on from diagnosis, I'm still learning about what I like to eat, what I like to drink, where I like to go, what I like to do. I used to have so many hobbies and things. People go, what's your hobbies now? I'm like, because I've been so much about my career, and my career is my trigger. That's always been my key trigger, is my career. So why, where's my seat at the table? I've worked so hard all my life. This is it. And that is kind of, I think, really the thread of my mental illness, because I've been in the industry since a child. I got my first gig at 5 years old. And yet I've worked in this parallel of also in times when TV and music industry and whatever, all the other things I was doing when it wasn't working well, I would go and do little normal jobs here and there. Yeah. So I've lived this life that is very bipolar. So it's kind of like, no wonder she's bipolar. It makes complete sense. But I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say like, oh yeah, I just live this, great life and I cope and I'm here and I've got it all made, because Kaz, I do not. Every single day I make a decision to live or die, do or die, sink or swim, whatever you want to call it. Some days I win, some days I lose. Do you understand? Yeah. If it gets really, really bad, where I feel like, I've made a pact with myself, and I'm very self-aware. And so I will speak to certain friends or family members just to let them know, at the very least, this is what's happening with me. Because I know that mania could come like that. It really can. It could come like that. And can I just say to anyone who may have some kind of mental illness or, whatever, write yourself a note. Write yourself a note. And write yourself a note to yourself if you ever get into crisis. If you ever feel like you're getting depressed, because you know what, particularly in bipolar, you can lose yourself. And
so when you say write a note to self, what are you saying in this note? What is it?
Whatever your plan is. So for example, it's like what your sane mind is saying to your insane mind. Right. Because when the depression, the bipolar, whatever it is, when it takes over your mind, it's telling you a whole bunch of lies. Right. It's telling you a whole bunch of untruths, yeah? So it's almost like, okay, like Back to the Future. Yes. Imagine it like that. It's like you're writing yourself a note to the future in case you ever need it. Yeah. You understand? And it's a case of, look, if you are reading this note, this is what you do. You're obviously unwell. Hello, Leah. You have made a promise in this moment. This is the promise. If you're reading this, stick to the promise. Because we have made a promise, like talking to whatever you need to write. But it's like your own personal letter, like a break the glass type letter, break the glass in case of emergency type letter. I'm not saying that it works or whatever, but I know. But that sounds
great. But that sounds like a great idea, because to me, it makes sense, because obviously you're not in your 100% right way of thinking. So if you're writing this letter to yourself, even maybe put it in an area that you could physically see it. Do you know what I'm saying? Take a note. Okay, what's that? And then it's like, oh, all right, this is what's going on there. But
there's also something else that I wanted to ask you, because we had Tenny on the show yesterday and she was talking about journaling as well. Is that something that you do as well? I think you do. Yeah, I recall you do, right? You do journaling. Do you find
journaling,
that
it's a weird one with me. Journaling does help, and I recommend it. I was doing a gratitude journal at one point. I got in such a funk, and I bumped into this old mate a couple of years ago, and she said, Leah, I was in such a bad way, and I started a gratitude journal, and I swear to God, it's changed my life. And I was in such rock bottom. It's only a couple of years ago. And I said, you know, at this stage, I'll try anything. I'll try anything. And so I got myself a little journal. And it's called the 6-Minute Diary, actually. It's like 3 minutes in the morning, 3 minutes. And you know what? It really changed my mindset. It changed a lot. And just naturally, I was manifesting great things, like this funk that I was in. I wasn't even having to try, because mentally I was in this place. And maybe, you know, giving out better vibes and attracting better vibes, whatever it was, but it works. Now, the issue is that the whole how many years, and I kick myself, Kaz, because I always go, I'm going to journal, and I don't. I store things out. That is one of my biggest downfalls. And like I said, I'm here not as a finished product. I'm here on this journey. And it's funny you say that about journaling, because I actually downloaded an app on my phone, and it's called Day One. And I do find whenever I do get a bit of paper, whatever, and I do every once in a while scribble stuff down or whatever, but I found that when I was doing it every day, it put me in a better place. So I really, really recommend it. But with me, what puts me off is because I'm old school. I like having a book, having paper, having a nice pen, having a nice diary, writing like, you know what I mean? Like in a bloody, you know, teenage movie going, dear diary. Yeah. And it's not like that, because my hand gets all right a bit. Honestly, after 2 minutes of writing, and you know I'm a chatter, let alone a writer, after 2 minutes of it, my hand can't take it. So that's what was putting me off actually journaling. Not because I didn't want to, but because it was just felt long. But now I've discovered the app, because I tell you what, bipolar does come with some special powers. And one of them is typing super quick. And like literally, like I do things that, like I could be typing. So it's people see me and be like, how are you doing that? It's bizarre. I believe it's a superpower. But now I've got the app. I could do it. Now I've got the app. I could do it though. And I can type really fast, and I can do the journal. So it's something I'm trying to stick to. But I wish I'd done it, because I tell you what, there's so many stories that I have. Somebody's going to need to make the film one day. You know,
you're going to make the film.
I wonder who'll play me. That's the question.
You know, you do have some characters that plays themselves. They got the younger version, and then they play themselves later. I'm just saying.
I never play myself. No. Again, I'm old school. I'd like to have a cameo. Like, I'd be one of my therapists or something. I would play the part of one of my therapists. Like, I wouldn't be in my own film in that way. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, we digress.
Yes,
voice note. Carla just said voice note. Good idea. Voice note journals.
Yeah, because I used to do voice notes as well. I used to do voice note, and I find it's really good, because then obviously you can listen to how you're actually sounding, you know, the mood and everything else. And when you listen back to it, it's just like, okay, that's how I was feeling, and I'm feeling great today. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that could be an alternative to, you know, doing a journaling. But what I did want to ask you as well, because obviously I'm mindful of time, but how are you coping in this uncertain time right now? How has it had an impact on you with the bipolar? Have you been all right? Because I know you're quite a homebody as well. So how has that been for you? I mean, has it had any like negative impact?
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, you know, I'm very close to my family. Everyone knows that. Big family, very close to my parents, my sister, nephews, and the wider family. But they live on one side of London and I live on the other side. And I haven't actually, considering I see them like every week, I have not seen my family for almost 3 months now, because I went in lockdown just before lockdown. And I believe I had corona as well. But this was before lockdown, before we even knew what was going on. But I had all the symptoms. I even called 111, whatever. So thankfully I got through it. But after a good 3-4 weeks, it was tough, a whole nother story. So I've been by myself for like almost 3 months. What I feel has put me in good stead, if I can say that, is because just full stop, I am used to being in my own company. I'm very social. You see me out on a night out, Kaz.
Yes.
I'm a lot of fun. I'm very social.
You are indeed.
You know what I mean? I'm all good. But I tell you what, when I come home and those lashes come off, girl, and you know, I've got the natural hair, so I don't even need to worry about the wig right now. But do you understand?
Yeah,
that is me. That's me. Yeah. I'm in my house. I'm cool. Like, I'm all right. So this whole isolation thing, I'm seeing people lose their minds, pardon the pun.
Yes.
And it's really hard on some people. But I feel like, in a way, thank God I've had the experience of what isolation feels like and being so used to it. Because if I was somebody who has a mental illness, like me, there are loads of people out there who are not used to being completely alone, who couldn't handle it like I can handle it. I have created a brilliant network around me that I call my love circle. And it's very, very hard to get into my love circle. And those are, you know, family and friends. And I would talk to them every day if I need to speak to somebody, but equally, I'll tell them straight, I don't want to talk to you today, so I'm not answering the phone. You know?
But that's fair enough. But the thing is, they're in your love circle because they know you, right?
Yeah, exactly. There has been a few moments where I've watched, if I've had moments, it's because I've been triggered by the news or seeing other people. I get very triggered by people's stories. And that is, again, part of bipolar. So you see something on the news, like, and you will think, you know, the average person will go, God, what a sad story. You know, you'll look at me and I will be literally sobbing. It will
just have that impact on you as well.
Yeah, I feel it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I really feel it. For some reason, when I'm around people, I can kind of play it a bit cooler, but I really, really feel emotion. And so those are sometimes my triggers of when I'm like, my gosh, this is like crazy. There are thousands of people dying. Like, this is a madness. Like, forget mental illness. This pandemic is mad. And then you've got all the conspiracies, and I love a conspiracy, girl. And we could just go on and on.
For me, babe. It's too much. It's just too much. Like right now, it's too much.
It's a lot.
It is too much. But in regards to, you know, because you spoke about the importance, obviously, of speaking and, you know, talking about how you're feeling and everything else. And, you know, not everybody's like that. Do you know what I mean? Kind of thing. Yeah. A lot of people like to bottle things in and don't know how to express themselves and may not necessarily have like a love circle or loved ones that they can actually speak to. But in terms of that, I mean, obviously you've got like the Samaritans and things like that, that is there. But what advice would you give to somebody that may just be watching a live right now? They may have a loved one that's going through similar things to what you've expressed, but obviously, you know, you've been able to get yourself in a place where you've got the right people around you, medication, etc., and just really dealing with self, you know, loving yourself and finding yourself and everything else and doing things for yourself. But what advice would you give to somebody right now, if I'm making sense, to start this journey? Do you know what I mean? Because it is a journey and they may potentially be feeling suicidal. What word of encouragement could you give to that person that may be watching right now or knows somebody that's going through some difficulties right now?
Well, the thing is, I just want to be very, very clear again, and I keep saying it. I am not a finished product. Do not think that I'm sat here going, like, what you see is what you get with me. It's not like a tears of a clown thing. I'm not sitting here pretending with you in this moment. Really inside, I'm sad. I'm not. I'm genuinely okay. But I also want you to know that I still struggle. My anxiety is through the roof at the moment. And that is the truth of the matter. It's through the roof. And how I know, because I don't eat, I don't sleep, I talk extra fast, I talk extra than I usually talk. You know, I can go on the bit of the hyper side. So, and because of doing these lives, and I'm doing a week's worth of lives as well, like, my anxiety's gone peak. So I know I'm at that higher threshold. Nothing to be concerned about, but I'm there. And also, I spent many years, by the way, many years isolated without a love circle. I had no friends, and any
Right.
friend that I did have deserted me because they couldn't cope with my bipolar, either because they just didn't like to see that I had bipolar, they didn't understand it, or because I probably did something to annoy them or said something to annoy them, and they just thought, forget you, don't want to know, and off they went. I lost a lot of friends, and I gained a lot of friends, and I lost a lot of friends, and I spent a lot of time by myself. So what you see now, when I talk about this circle, I talk about it with such warmth because it took me years to build. Believe it or not, I had nobody. So any little friend that is there for me, like anybody that is there, like that is down in my highs and my lows, like friendship has taken on a whole new meaning for me. So I just want to make that clear. So to the person who's like me, that's watching, who's going through something, please, honestly, I'm always saying this to people, but there is life after diagnosis. That's number one. Yeah. You know, number two, like, life is just too short. Don't suffer by yourself. And I know you might think, oh, but exactly, what's the point in suffering? So I may as well not be here. I may as well, you know, I feel sad, or I just feel low. I can't cope. I can't whatever. But all I can say to you is what I wish I could say and wanted to say to myself, and did in a weird way say to myself, like the small voice in my head, even when I was super depressed and when I was super high and I had no control, there was still that part of me, that little voice going, don't give up. Just one day, just another day, don't give up. Until, you know, don't be so hard on yourself. If you feel a bit shit, just feel shit in that moment.
Yeah.
Acknowledge
It's
how
all right
you
to have
feel.
that day.
Yeah, don't deny it. Don't deny
Yeah.
it. What I spent was years of just pretending these things weren't happening, and it caught up with me, and I ended up having a nervous breakdown, and I've had to rebuild over the last 8 years. Don't do it to yourself. At least try and acknowledge. If you don't want to go all out and whatever, you know, no one's going to go and section you and take you away if you go to a doctor or tell a friend. Believe you me, it's not easy to get sectioned these days. Trust me, I've tried. You can't. Nobody's just going to take you and get sectioned.
Yeah, it
the
doesn't work that way.
No, overrun. They're not
Yeah.
taking you. You really have to be out there doing some madness on road, pardon the pun, for anyone to intervene. So please do not be afraid to go to your doctor. Second thing is, don't think that, oh, I'm going to have to take medication. No, you don't. There are other ways and means and therapies. Yes, there may be waiting lists, but you know what? There's also Google. There's also free platforms. You've got things like all the different charities. Yes, you've got the Samaritans. Yes, you've got Mind. You've got Sane. You've got all those charities. There are loads of things that are out there. You know, you may find that you don't have any friends, like I didn't, but there are online communities. I still like to hide behind my phone, believe it or not. I prefer to send a text than to speak on a phone. I get phone anxiety, believe it or not. I will limit the amount of calls I take in a day. I may only take one call in a day. And if my mum and dad are first in the queue, I'm really sorry, Kaz, if you're second, because the chances are I'm not going to want to talk to you, you know? So if you are that person who is like that, been like me, whatever, acknowledge how you feel. Maybe start that journal. Don't be too hard on yourself. But don't be afraid to ask for help or go in a forum. Just find people that are like you. Try and find someone else that is like you, but is in a positive place. Not someone like you who wants to do bad stuff or encourage you to feel worse, but someone who is going through that journey, you know, someone like me, you know. So that is number one, Keep up the fight. Like, just don't quit. I'm saying this now even to myself. I'm putting it out there. Because God forbid, but God knows, I may wake up tomorrow, you know, Kaz, and not be
in that front,
not
that
be Leah. And I'm not saying completely like whatever, you know. Oh, she's like, if you saw me in the street, you'd be like, oh my God, she's dead. You probably wouldn't notice, you know. But I could wake up tomorrow and be severely depressed. So let me just be real with everyone. Is that I'm like everybody else. I'm still on this journey. That's number one. Number two, which is really important, if you are a friend or a loved one of somebody who's going through it and they drive you crazy, they talk too much sometimes, they're a bit hyper, sometimes they're a bit abrupt, like, just give them some compassion.
It's about kindness right now, because that's the theme right now. It's about kindness, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? You
know, just don't give up. That's what I always say. Like, if you see something, I know it's hard because I've had friends who are going through stuff or have mental illnesses or depression, whatever, and you do think, God, this is so draining. And that's coming from me, who knows how draining it is. And I know how much I've drained people. I am aware, I know that. And so I always want to be there for people. So I do understand what it feels like from both sides of the fence. So what I would say is to those who are like me, keep trying. And for those who are friends or loved ones of somebody like me, please don't give up on them. Because even if they push you away, I tell you what, your little text messages, your little calls, even if they didn't answer, don't stop calling them. Because I tell you what, when that time comes, or if that time comes, and they feel like, I can't do this anymore, one of the key lies in the mind is that nobody loves you, nobody wants you, you're better off by yourself. Look, no friend has even checked on you. When was the last time any of your friends checked on you?
Listen.
That is all you need to know. And that's it. Thank you very much. I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do, and I'm going to take my life. But I tell you what, you will remember in that, I believe that you would, in that moment when your mind is saying, yeah, but nobody cares for you, nobody loves you, nobody's here, nobody's called you. Your brain can't lie either, even though it tells you lies, but the sane part of your mind is going to say, well, hold on, no, because Kat called me.
Yeah.
And that one little thing.
But sometimes it's not even necessarily the case. Sometimes it's that you want it to be certain individuals to call you. Do you know what I'm saying?
That is very true.
You know, you can't look at those individuals. You've got to deal with who's there for you right now. You know, I'm just very, somebody made a comment, it's Jamie Wordsley. He said, this hit so hard for me as someone who has been diagnosed with depression. When I told my friends and family, most of them said, but you're always happy and full of life, and how can you have depression? And this is the thing, depression is not like when you got a cut. It doesn't present itself with any like evidence, like I'm sick. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Listen, can I just say, if I had, God forbid, I had cast on my ankle, or I had, different type of, there were so many other conditions, heart attack, cancer, whatever. Even those things that you can't see, people go, oh my God, I'm so sorry to hear that. When's your next appointment? Would you like me to come with you? What support do you need? And you get all of this stuff. The minute you say I've got a mental illness, kind of just backs off, just creeps back. You do not get this sympathy, this love, this warm hug, even a metaphorical one. You don't get it. You just don't get it. Even from the most compassionate people, like they just don't. You know, you say the C word, you say cancer, and you're going to get
everybody's compassionate, mate.
So much heart. You turn around and say bipolar, depression, whatever, and it's like, oh, I'm sorry. Who was the guy who just wrote that, by the way?
It was a gentleman called Jamie. Jamie.
Jamie, can I just say, I'm sorry to hear that you've been going through that, because I know firsthand, obviously, that it's not easy. And I know what it's like when people have said to me, yeah, but you're so happy, blah, blah. My family said it in the beginning. They are amazing now, but at first nobody understood, because but you're happy, you're a joker, you're bubbly, it doesn't matter, because depression and mental illness can happen to anyone. So Jamie, don't beat yourself up about it. There will be days when you feel shit, you know that. There will be days when you can't eat, you can't sleep, you can't wash, you ain't even got strength to stand up. Jamie, I have hosted live TV, and in between takes, I'm crying at the back because the pain in my body from the depression is killing me, and I'm having to put on a face. So believe you me, mate, I feel your pain. But what I want to say is it's a journey. Don't give up. You're going to have the highs, you're going to have the lows, but just take care of yourself. Own who you are, because you know what? There's nothing to be afraid of. And friends and family are going to come and go, my friends. They really will. Yeah. But you know what? As you rise, this is what happened with me. I went from the depths, and as I'm rising and as I'm being more authentic in myself and just not giving a damn, actually you attract better people around you. You don't, all the trash leaves, literally all the trash leaves. And if that's one positive to see from this, Jamie, just know that you're going to come out on this other side, and literally the compassion and the empathy and the strength, and you're going to be so proud of yourself, believe me, because there are days where I feel so proud of myself from where I've come, but I recognize that it is still a journey. So that goes to Jamie and anyone, like, just from my heart to yours, like, it even just hearing it makes me feel emotional. Like, I feel that surge. I can literally cry because it's not my story. When I hear somebody else's, I want to cry. But I feel for you. I feel for you, mate. You know, just stay strong. Keep fighting the good fight.
Some of our viewers are actually saying, you know, guys, just, you know, it's really about just being kind, just, you know, supporting those who are suffering. And Janelle also asked a question, can what you eat make a difference as well? Can that have an impact in terms of, like, you know, with your mood, you know, with depression, etc.? Can that actually have an impact? Can that make a difference?
I think it does make a difference, because I tell you what, the
Mm-hmm.
one thing about me is my eating habits, and that's something that's suffered greatly through since the start. From being depressed, you overeat. You're eating anything, you're just overeating. You just feel like a slug. And then when I
Yeah.
went into mania, I dropped all this weight overnight and became like a skinny little rake, because suddenly I wasn't eating or sleeping. So going from being a sloth, that's how I felt, to suddenly being this active person, it all fell off me. But not in the greatest way either. But from then, my diet, you know, my relationship with food has always been a bit crappy anyway. When I was younger, I borderlined on a kind of anorexia type vibe, you know, I just very borderline. It's not something I want to add to my arsenal. I've got enough labels. I'm good. You know what I mean? But it
Mm-hmm.
was like, I've always had a bit of a weird relationship with food. My mum used to boot me off to St. Lucia to get me fed by my granny when I was younger. And so what I've found, though, is that now, learning the days when I do eat better, and I still now, you know, when I eat better, I feel better. My biggest downfall, though, is water. I don't
Right.
drink. And I don't even mean just water. I mean any liquid. I could go for
Wow,
days, like
Leah,
a camel.
wow.
I've done it since I was a kid, because I've got phobia of public toilets. So from a
Right,
kid,
okay.
and so my body is so used to, actually, I could have that one sip of water and not drink anything by tomorrow. But as I've gotten older, it's catching up with me. And so me not
Right.
drinking water, I can now wake up feeling very sick, like I want to throw up, more headaches, more whatever. So now my body is forcing me to drink water, because it's going, love, you ain't a 20-year-old, you ain't a 10-year-old no more. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yes.
I think they call it, when the 40s club, where we're kind of hitting middle age. Is that correct?
You,
So,
yeah,
you know, I need to drink more water. And so
you
I've been
need to drink more
trying.
water. But the thing is, it doesn't even matter
Yeah.
about when you get to a certain age, you need water, because the majority of your body is made up of water. And like Janelle said,
Full
eating
stop.
disorders are
Yeah.
mental illness as
Yeah.
well.
But it's just catching
You know,
up with me now. I think my body has gotten so used to working in a certain way, but now it's just like, it needs water. And when I
yes,
don't drink
definitely.
water, it makes me feel worse than when I haven't eaten food. So to answer Janelle's question, yeah, diet is
Yeah,
important. Definitely.
yeah,
It definitely is
definitely.
important.
And especially like in this time, I mean, I don't know how you was finding it, but obviously you said you wasn't well, and you believe you may have had the C19 anyway. But you know,
Mm.
there's a lot of us that are just like quarantining in the fridge and in the cupboard and looking for things that, you know, to eat, yamming down the place, and people starting to have a different quarantine body and everything. I personally, I've had to really start training. I've been training with Reese Athletics, because for my mental well-being, because the first week for
Yeah.
myself, I
Yeah.
literally was going to, the first few days I was fine, but when it came to, like, say Friday, and I heard of one of my friends dying, and I couldn't get there and things like that, I just went mad. Literally, I just started, you know, I literally just went ballistic in my flat.
Really?
And
Oh my
yeah, and I had to
gosh,
call the
the whole
Samaritans. I
thing.
had to call the Samaritans. The
Really?
Samaritans,
Was that
yeah,
deep?
no,
Wow.
it was peak.
I'm
It's
sorry
been
to hear
peak out
that.
there, babe. You know what I
This is
mean?
what
But
I'm saying. People are
this is the
really going through it.
people are going through things out here. You know,
See,
it's
listen, but you
crazy.
know, mental illness is, or mental health, I should say, is for life, not just the
Hmm.
pandemic. And that is something that we really need to bear in mind, because now people have never experienced this type of stuff in their life, and now feelings that they didn't even know were possible. You know,
Yeah,
they heard about all this anxiety and all this stuff, and they said it can't happen to me. And it really can happen to anyone. Nobody expected for us to have this pandemic. And, you know, something that I have started doing since lockdown, which has, weirdly, I've, you know, discovered woods near my area and fields, and I'm going for these 7K walks. I'm like, suddenly I feel less pressure with lockdown than I did out of lockdown, because out of lockdown I felt like, oh my God, I can't keep up. I need to go and find this job, do this, do that. And I was really anxious. I was more anxious. But in lockdown, in this weird way in my head, it's made me kind of go, the world is kind of on pause, love. So where you running to? Just chill your boots and just do things in your own time. And actually, that has helped me, and I feel less guilty. So there you have it.
Yeah. And the thing is, I mean, I think, like Carla said, Coach Carla, she mentioned about, you know, giving this season a theme, you know, and I really strongly believe for myself, it's reset. Do you know what I mean? And I do think that if we was constantly keep on going, constantly on that treadmill, you wouldn't have discovered that the woods. Do you understand what I'm saying? We wouldn't be discovering so many things. We wouldn't even discover about ourselves. Like, I've actually just, I've started doing some coaching as well with Coach Carla. I'm also doing a Paint to Purpose with Keely as well, Key for Change. And I've had to just say, right, this is a time for me to invest in myself.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? And I
know, that's why I started my channel. Yeah, and that's why I started the channel, not because, you know, at first everyone's seen everyone on Insta doing their thing, and I thought, I don't want to jump on the bandwagon. Now's not the time. I hate bandwagons, honestly. Yeah,
talk about your channel. Talk about what you're doing, please.
Yeah, well, I'm launching Illuminate Mental Health, which is basically a platform, talk about all things mental health and me, really. But I don't want to do it in a cheesy kind of way. I just want to do it in a Leah way, because the first thing people say when they find out I've got bipolar, you don't look bipolar. Well, what does bipolar look like? Do you know what I mean? I you know, a little bit bonkers, but I like my little bit of bonkers, and I wouldn't change it for the world. And so I've just got so many stories from being in an industry from a child, and everything that's interwoven along with walking along my journey in my career. And I want to share that and have guests and all the rest of it. So every day this week on Instagram at 8 p.m. before Kaz's show, guys, before the Now Chat show, at 8 p.m. come and join me. I have different guests every week. I've got mental health warriors sharing their stories, and I've also got like therapists, psychotherapists sharing theirs as well. Kaz, I know you've got to wrap up, so I'm going to be quick. So just come and join me. Follow me on YouTube at Leah Charles-King. I'm going to be adding some videos, and just, you know, work with me. Let's just do this together. Let's normalize these conversations. Let's debunk the myths, reduce the stigma, all the usual cliche type of stuff. But the bottom line is, people like me and people like you, we shouldn't be feeling away about having mental health issues or talking about mental health, because we all have mental health, okay?
And like you said, anybody can get it at any time, do you know what I mean? Because you could be faced with any kind of a situation, trauma, you know, and then that's it. Do you understand what I'm saying? But you do need to have tools to be able to go through those areas if it does happen to you. And also we've got to be mindful that there's people that need help, they need support, you know, and it's really about being kind. It's really about being kind even to yourself. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. Kind of thing. You have to be kind to yourself. If it means that you just don't do certain things with certain people, then you just don't do that. You just have to look after number one, because if you don't look after anybody, look after yourself, who's going to look after you?
If you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love anybody else? Can I get an amen?
Come on now. And it's like, even when you go on a plane, what do they say to you? Before you put on anybody else's gas mask, air mask on, you have to put on yours first, because you can't help anybody else before you help yourself. But we're always helping somebody else rather than helping ourselves. Do you know what I mean? So it's not that you're being selfish. You just have to be kind to yourself, because you are your biggest investment. You are your greatest asset. If you don't look after you, can't even work and get no money to buy food and do anything. Do you understand what I'm saying? You have to look after yourself. Deal with yourself as if you're a Rolls Royce. Do you know what I mean? Like, you are.
The people used to tell me that for years and years and years, and it's really something you've got to learn for yourself. I would have clients like you saying, but Leah, I see you give out a lot of energy to others, but are you doing self-care? And it's taken me a long time to get to that principle of going, actually, you know what, Leah, you like having a walk, go and have a walk. Do that for yourself. I wouldn't do things for myself before because I felt guilty. I felt guilty. And now I'm just I'm more going along with the flow. I suffer the anxiety every day in everything I do. I've learned only recently how much anxiety does control my entire life, but not in the obvious way. It's not like these panic attacks or whatever. It's this constant being in this fight or flight mode. I'm constantly there. I'm constantly on the edge for anything that's going to happen. And that is kind of where I live. And I've only just discovered that in the last sort of 4 to 5 months. So I'm going through that journey as well of how I can not be so quick.
Oh my gosh, we've got 27 minutes remaining, girl. Listen, we got to wrap
27
up.
27 seconds. Say
so
bye.
Anyway,
quick. It's gonna,
right, so
stop.
guys, yes.
It's going to cut us off and it won't save. So just say bye.
Anyway, so guys, thank you all for watching. And we'll see you tomorrow on Now Chat Show, where we're going to have another special guest. So make sure you follow Leah Charles-King. And until next time, peace out. Later.
Bye.